Pro Truth family. So this is going to be part two to the Travis Rudolph case, murder case, and it has been revealed that he has been found not guilty. All right, brothers, he's been found not guilty of all charges. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about, brothers, because what I'm going to be talking about is how toxic this woman is. All right. So we as black men have to vent our women. Okay. A lot of things is going to be revealed because Travis Rudolph's ex-girlfriend is going to be cross-examined. So I want you guys to look at everything. I want you guys to watch her demeanor, how toxic she is, when she's asked a question, how she responds to the questions, and and it's just going to be a lot of things revealed, brothers. Going to be a lot of things revealed. And I've said this before that a lot of our women have a childlike mentality, a big time childlike mentality. I believe that she's 25 years old. So the incident happened when she was 23. So I'm going to be pointing out some things. This is pretty long, but I'm going to try my best to keep it to a minimum. But there's going to be certain things that I'm going to be pointing out. So let's go ahead and start it out. Let's go ahead and get to it. So, brothers, in the beginning already, I've been to court quite a few times. I don't know if y'all noticed, but look how short her dress is. It's way above her knees. So, in my opinion, you come into court kind of inappropriate. But, maybe I'm being nitpicky. But you already coming in here very inappropriate with that short dress. But let's go ahead and continue.
All right, Ms. Jones. All right, Ms. Edwards, you may continue the direct examination of Ms. Jones.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
So, brothers, I just want to let you know that I skipped a lot because they were just basically asking her other questions that really it was part of the case, but I just wanted to kind of get to the meat of the case. So let's go ahead and continue.
Good morning.
You had an eventful morning?
Yes, I apologize to the jury as well as the judge. I know you guys are on a time limit, but something happened with my vehicle.
Okay, so thankfully the vehicle got fixed and you're here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So last evening when we left off, we were talking about a series of text messages that you got from Tereni, and you said that you did not take her seriously to mean that your brothers would be in danger if they went over there, your brother and his friends.
Correct.
Did you know whether or not Mr. Rudolph had any firearms?
Yes.
And how many firearms did Mr. Rudolph have?
Two that I know of. I know he had an AR-15, and I know he had like a regular handgun.
How familiar are you with firearms? Do you know sort of the make, model, anything like that?
Not really, to be 100% honest.
So you knew one was a handgun, meaning it would be held in the
Correct.
shorter gun. And then you said one was sort of a rifle type. You said AR-15, but you're not sure if that's the make or model.
Yeah, and he used to always say something about like a drum. Like I knew he had a drum for the AR-15, but not really educated in that aspect.
And do you know where Mr. Rudolph would keep the firearms in the residence?
He would keep his handgun in his underwear drawer, and then he would keep his AR-15 like in his closet.
And that's the closet in the bedroom as well?
Yeah, his bedroom.
After the course of what happened on the night, early morning hours of the 7th, really going into the next day, did you do any web searches about laws or anything having to do with that?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When you met Travis Rudolph, you knew that he had been in the NFL, is that correct?
Correct.
You knew he played for the Giants, and then he played for the Dolphins, right?
Later on.
Right, but he,
Not initially did I know that, no.
but at some point during your relationship, you knew that he had a very lucrative contract with the NFL, correct?
I knew nothing about his contract.
Okay. But you knew he played for the NFL, right?
Correct.
Okay. And at some point, he became injured, right?
Correct.
And he was cut from playing for the NFL. He lost his contract, basically, right?
Correct.
Okay, and he would spend his days down in Miami rehabbing and training, right?
No, he would spend his days at home playing video games.
Okay, but so your testimony is that he never went down to Miami and was rehabbing his injury in order to play for the Canadian League that he had just landed a contract with?
That's not my testimony. You said what was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Isn't it true that he was rehabbing his injury?
Sometimes.
Okay? And other times he was playing video games. That's your testimony.
Correct.
And isn't it true that he was also training down at the NFL facility down in Miami after he was injured?
I'm not sure what he would do in Miami.
That was a concern of yours, wasn't it? That he was off in Miami and you didn't know what he was doing, right?
Correct.
When when you met Travis, he had a nice vehicle, a BMW truck. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he was taking care of you basically financially when you guys were together, was he not?
He was not taking care of me financially at all during our entire relationship.
Okay. How old were you when you guys met?
23.
So in March of 2020, you were 23 years old?
March of 2020. Yes, I was 23.
And you were living with your mom and stepdad and your brother at the time?
Correct.
That was in the apartment in Delray Beach?
Yes.
Spring Harbor Apartments? Apartment, is that a yes?
Yes.
Apartment E?
Correct.
Is that a two-bedroom apartment?
No.
How many bedrooms?
3.
During that time, you didn't own your own home, right?
No, I didn't.
You were living in the home that your parents provided you with, right?
Correct.
You were living under their roof, right?
Correct.
You didn't own any property, any real estate, right?
No, but I was a realtor.
Okay, let's talk about that. You got your real estate license in February of 2020, right?
Correct.
So right around the time that you and Travis met.
Correct.
And then COVID hit, right?
Correct.
And let's see, you made one sale. It was a rental, right?
Yes.
So during the whole time that you had your real estate license,
I just got my real estate license in March, not to cut you off, sorry. But I just got my license in March and then COVID.
my question,
Okay.
isn't it true?
So, brothers, I just want you to look at. Do you see how her demeanor is when she's answering these questions? First of all, she's not always saying yes. She's saying mm-hmm or yeah. I've been to court. You can't be talking to you really can't talk to the lawyers or even the judge like that. So you're probably going to hear the judge or even the lawyer have to continue to say, is it yes? So just keep that in mind, brothers, and her demeanor. Let's continue.
True that you were not making a living as a realtor. COVID hit. There was no sales going on. You weren't making a living as a realtor, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're living with your mom and dad.
Sure. Feel free to stand up and stretch, please, ladies and gentlemen, but remember and obey the.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you really weren't making a living as a real estate agent, right?
No, but I do have a mom and she's a medical assistant, so.
Okay. And you were living with your mom,
Correct.
right? And you also had some costly cosmetic surgery around that time, right?
I feel uncomfortable discussing that, so.
Yes.
Cosmetic surgery, did you not?
I did have cosmetic surgery.
Okay. And it's your testimony that even though that you weren't making a living as a realtor, you were not relying on Travis for any financial help, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In fact, yesterday you testified and you told this jury that he never financially supported you 1,000%, right?
Correct.
At that time, you were also sleeping over his house pretty much on a daily basis. That's what you told the jury yesterday?
Correct.
And it was during this time that you and Travis were dating that you were actually married to another man, Andre Chinsang. Is that correct?
Now, brothers, y'all heard that. She was married. She was legally married to somebody else. But yet, she was sleeping with this man, which means she was committing adultery. But brothers, watch how she tries to flip this when she now that she's been asked a question about her being married. Let's continue.
Legally separated, but correct.
Well, you were still legally married, weren't you?
But people could be married and separated.
Okay.
So we were separated.
Right, but you weren't divorced, let me put it that way.
Correct.
Okay. So if you're not divorced, then you're still legally married. Is that correct?
I thought separated was a thing when it came to marriage. I thought you can either be married, separated, or divorced. But if you want to get technical, like very technical, yes, we were not divorced.
Okay. And while you were dating Travis for this year or so, year and a half, you never told him that you were married to another man, right?
No, I didn't.
And you testified yesterday that you and Travis had a conversation about marriage. Is that right? That's what you told this jury yesterday. That you and Travis, at some point, you had a conversation about marriage. You remember that?
I didn't necessarily say we had a conversation about marriage. We basically were discussing has that came up about a future, and I said that things have came up that weren't that serious, but yeah, conversations were had.
About marriage. That was your testimony.
Not specifically about marriage, just about a future between me and him, kids, things, etc., stuff like that.
Okay, so you're telling this jury today that you did not say yesterday on direct examination that you and Travis had a conversation about marriage. Is that what you're telling this jury?
No, we had a conversation about that. Yes, we did.
Okay. And you had a conversation with a man about marriage, and you're still married to Andre Chinsang. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you lied to Travis. You misled him, did you not?
Travis never asked me if I was married.
So you have to be asked a question in order to get an answer, or to be told the truth? Is that what you're telling this jury?
I'm just telling the jury that the conversation about me being married never came up, so I never spoke on it because I felt like it was not my personal business to speak on.
Right, so what you're telling
Now, brothers, did you hear what she just said? Now, let's just flip that if that was a man that was sleeping with a woman and he never revealed that he was married. Do you know they would have a field day with that? Especially if it was a black man, they would have a field day with him. But go ahead, brother.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And she said, and this is how I think most typical Black American women act, most, not all, but most, 99.9%. They will often say why they feel they shouldn't have said something, and that to them isn't lying. If it's not brought up, it's not a lie because he never asked me the question. That's literally their rhetoric for when they're being deceptive. But that is all.
Again, brothers, I don't make these things up. And again, this is somebody, she's young. And there's gonna be some more stuff that she's gonna be saying that's gonna sound so crazy, brothers. You have to vent these women because they will get you killed. Most of you brothers, y'all need to focus on your career and don't even focus on a relationship because these women, they are a distraction. Women can be a distraction from your career, brothers. Let's continue.
What you're telling this jury is that unless somebody asks you a question, a specific question, you don't have to tell them the correct or honest answer. That's what you just told them.
I'm not telling you guys that. I'm telling you guys that in relationships, you have a past. It might not be clean. It might not be the best past that you have, but I decided to leave the past of my relationship behind me. When I started dating Travis, I felt like I didn't need to disclose that because it had nothing to do with what me and Travis had going on.
So you were talking about marriage and you're married. You never told him, right? Isn't it true you never told him?
I never, no, he answered.
Sustained. Next question,
You
please.
said that yes,
Brothers, before we continue, I just want to just say that let's just say that her husband was still madly in love with her. This is how other brothers get killed, and this is how other brothers end up behind bars because of shit like this. And guess what's gonna happen with this woman if that would have happened? She's going to go to the next nigga, start giving him sloppy toppy, and it's a cycle. It keeps going on and on. So, brothers, you got to bend these women. Go ahead, my brother.
Yes, and like Blue said in the comments, that's not even a past situation, it's a current one because technically she's still married. So that's not a past that you just felt like, oh, it didn't need to be brought up, especially if you're talking about the topic and of marriage. That would make sense for you to say, you know what? Hey, I know I didn't, even to just admit that you never mentioned it, that's taking accountability, but you didn't do it. So again, this is a tactic and rhetoric in a mindset of most Black American women. That is all.
Can't make this up. Let's go ahead and continue.
yesterday you told the jury that your relationship with Travis wasn't an open relationship. You remember that?
Correct.
Okay. So the implication or the understanding was that this was a relationship that was exclusive between the two of you?
Correct.
And Andre didn't fit in this at all.
Haven't spoken to him in 2 years.
You got divorced from him after Mr. Rudolph's arrest. Is that not correct?
Yes, because it was already in the plan before Travis got arrested.
You knew in April of 2021 that Travis had received a contract with the Canadian League and was leaving for Canada in the following month, in May. Did you not?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. And he got a contract to play football. He was excited about that. He was leaving for Canada in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he wasn't taking you along with him, was he?
I didn't ask to go. I had my own. I was a realtor. I was starting to get back into real estate.
Okay. During COVID when you weren't making any sales, right? He wasn't taking you with him, was he?
No.
He was leaving you. Right? He was leaving you. He was going off to Canada, and he was leaving you here in the States, right?
Yes.
Okay. He had no interest in taking you with him, right?
Objection, Judge. Lack of personal knowledge of his interests.
I don't know exactly.
Overruled. Go ahead, answer the question.
I don't know what Travis's intentions were
Did
of
he ask
taking
you to
me.
go with him?
He used to say things like that all the time, but that's hearsay. So I'm not going to say that.
Hold on. You're telling us, let me ask it this way. This man never planned on taking you with him to Canada. Isn't that true?
I don't know that for a fact.
Did he ever tell you he was taking you to Canada with him?
He would say things like that all the time. You can come visit me, things like that all the time.
Taking you with him. He had no intentions. Because his
I don't know that. So you're asking me a question and I'm responding to you. I do not know if he had intentions or not of taking me.
You didn't have a plane ticket to go with him, did you?
He didn't have one either. He didn't even have a passport.
Did you have a plane ticket to go with Mr. Rudolph to Canada?
He was not leaving until May, and no, I did not have a plane ticket. This all happened in April.
At the time of this incident, did you have any means of transport or a plane ticket, anything showing this jury that it was his intention that you were moving to Canada with him?
No.
And you knew in April, when you guys were dating, that it was his plan to just go work in Canada for a short period of time, and his hope was to get back into the NFL. Isn't that true?
I didn't know his ins and outs. I knew he had a contract with the CFL, and that's the most that I can say to you. That's all I really know.
Okay, so he never discussed with you his hope that he was going to come back to Florida and work again for the NFL? That was never a discussion?
He has said things like that, but I don't know exactly his intentions of what would have happened.
So he did say things like that. There was a discussion with you about that. You just
There,
said that.
there was a discussion.
Overruled.
Didn't you just say that you guys had a discussion about that?
Yeah, we had a discussion.
Was that so hard?
It's not. I'm just trying to make sure I'm answering the questions to my best ability. That's it.
All you have to do is tell the truth, and it'll be.
I am telling the truth, but you're asking.
Question.
Thank you.
Okay. You were hoping that when he got the contract with the NFL, that you guys would then be married, like you told the jury you guys had discussed, and
No.
you would benefit by his millions of dollars that he was going to be making from the NFL.
First of all, I didn't even know how much money he was being offered.
Next question.
You guys had broken up in April 6th of that year, right? You were basically finished.
I wouldn't say that from the text messages that were shown yesterday.
Well, what about in your mind? Not about the text messages. Isn't it a fact that you guys were pretty much over?
I said I wanted a break, but you know how relationships are. Relationships are iffy. You might say you want a break one day. The next day you guys relationships are iffy. You might say you want a break one day. The next day you guys might be back together. So
Well, you told the jury.
Brothers, let me tell you something about this break, and then you want to break it and you don't want to break. Listen, brothers, this on and off relationship, y'all need to cut that shit out. And I'm talking to you black men. Once the relationship is off, keep that shit off. Do you know how many women are out there? It's in Atlanta, 17-1. Dallas, it's probably like 10-1. Brothers, you can find a woman. You don't have to keep dealing with a toxic woman. It's easy to find another. They could be replaced just like that. Women have a harder time trying to find these quote-unquote good men because they have all these stipulations. You don't have to deal with that, brothers. You don't have to lose your hair off of a toxic woman. So let's go ahead and continue with this.
Told the jury yesterday that you hadn't seen each other for about a month. You remember that?
if you don't see someone, it doesn't mean that you're not with them.
Okay. Well, you weren't with each other during that month. You weren't having any
But we were still,
relations during that month,
but
right?
we were talking every day, FaceTiming every day. And some days when he would come back down, he would come pick me up and I would see him.
Correct. But you would agree that if you don't see somebody for a month, and prior to that, the implication is that you were seeing them before that, that the relationship has taken a change in course, has it not?
Because I had surgery.
So the only reason you stopped seeing each other for a month was because you had surgery.
Correct. I was at his house every day before I had surgery. And then when I had surgery, I was only able to move so much. And I wasn't really able to drive in a vehicle that much.
You know, you just said that sometimes he would come and pick you up, even though you told
I had to sit a certain way. I had to do things a certain way in order to go places. Yes.
even though you told the jury yesterday that he took care of you for a week, right? While you were recuperating, right? Is that a yes?
Brothers, I'm a little bit off on this, but she said she had to get cosmetic surgery. So I'm going to assume that she said she had to get plastic surgery. This woman she's in her early 20s. Why are you getting plastic surgery in your early 20s? Oh boy, brothers, I'm telling you. And I don't even hate to say it, you got to vent these women. It's starting to be, and more, the American black woman they're more and more out of control. And it's because of a lot of us black men that are not setting standards. We got to set standards, black men, for these women, because right now they're out of control. They need to be controlled. Let's continue.
A yes?
Yes.
Yesterday, you told the jury that you were concerned because he was in Miami so long and I didn't know where we stood. Remember telling the jury that?
Yes.
So you didn't know where your relationship was at. Isn't that correct?
I didn't know when it came to him being in Miami, but I knew that me and him still had a solid relationship because it was over a year.
Well, why did you say then, I was concerned that he was in Miami so long, I didn't know where we stood?
I didn't. That's why I was going on the movie date so I can figure out where we stood.
Because your relationship was basically over at that point. You didn't.
Nobody ever said the relationship was over. So to my knowledge, it was not over.
You now said, or what you told her yesterday, was that he was in Miami so long, to use your terms. So he was spending a lot of time in Miami, was he not?
He was spending time in Miami, yes.
He was spending more time in Miami than he was playing video games, wasn't he?
Kind of in the middle.
Okay. And you were jealous that he was down in Miami so long, right?
I'm not going to use the term jealous. No, I was not jealous. I wanted him to do well. I wanted him to go to the CFL. I knew that was his dream. So I wouldn't call that jealous at all.
You knew then, now again, that after he went to Canada, his dream was to come back and his hope was to get a contract with the NFL, right?
I mean, usually that's what people decide. I'm not sure exactly what his decision was, but if you go off to the CFL, yes, that is something that you do try to pursue after.
Okay. You also told the jury yesterday that I felt uncertainty because I didn't see him for a month. You remember that?
Correct.
Okay. So you basically did not see him at all for a month, right?
In person, because I was healing, but I did see him through FaceTime, on the phone, through text, every other type of communication.
Why would you feel uncertainty if the relationship had changed course? Why did you care that he was down in Miami?
It's not that I cared, it's just that I just had surgery, so I kind of wanted comforting from him and him to be there a little bit more and things like that. So that's more of what it was.
Well, you had some concerns because the minute he stepped out of the house when DJ came home, you took it upon yourself to snoop through his phone, right?
I didn't snoop because he gave me the password, so I just want to clarify that.
Oh, hold on. He did not give you the password that day, right?
He gave it to me to let me know I can look through it whenever I wanted to.
Right, that he gave you that password months earlier on in the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So this is not a situation where you guys are alone in his house. He says, hey, by the way, here's my password. Feel free to go into my phone. I'm going to go step outside. That didn't happen, right?
No.
Okay. So he walks out for a minute, and you could not resist to take his phone, his personal property, go in, put his password, and start snooping around, right?
Yes, because we were in a relationship and he gave me that password.
Okay.
So, brothers, you hear that? So she feels that just because they're in a relationship, she can go through his stuff anytime she wants. And it just so happens that she went through his phone that day. She said that she got the password months ago. He gave it to her months ago. But just that particular day, she wants to go through his phone. So basically, that's just like, I guess if I give you the key to my house, you could come in and take my TV anytime you want. Does that make sense, brothers? Does that make sense? Protect yourself, brothers, at all times. I keep telling you, brothers, I know I always say 99.9%, and I just be joking about that. But then 99.9% of these women out here in America, brother, are toxic. I don't make these things up. Let's go ahead and continue.
So have you snooped around in his phone on prior occasions with his password?
No, because I just had surgery, so I haven't seen him in a while.
Right. So you were snooping around because you were...
I wouldn't use the word snoop.
Overruled.
You were snooping around because you were concerned about him seeing other women down in Miami. Isn't that the bottom line?
The bottom line is he was my boyfriend at the time. I haven't seen him in a month, and I was curious. That's the bottom line.
Okay. You didn't want to lose him, right?
Of course not.
And when Travis said that he found Kyla's body more attractive than yours, you became infuriated. Right?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Brothers, you can't do that. Now, if he did do that shit, brothers, you can't do that. You cannot go tell another woman that they look better, that somebody looks better than your own girl. Come on, brothers, you can't do that. I don't know if he did. I don't know if that's true or not. But if he did, Travis, you a little bit you wrong for that. But go ahead, my brother.
I say he can because I believe that he likes natural women and not a Build-A-Bear. So, because you got that fix-a-flat, he was just saying, you look a little better back in the day. Kayla, I kind of really want this, so if you can kind of get this taken out, that would be nice. And she got mad.
I can't agree with you, brother. But hey, everybody has their own perspective. But again, brothers, you should not be doing that to your girl, man. If that's your girl, don't go out there and try to compare her to somebody else because she's going to get upset and jealous. Brothers, you can't do that. I'm not giving you no pass for that because it's going to get crazy. But let's go ahead and continue.
Oh,
You weren't upset that he found Kyla more attractive than you?
no.
When you saw the text from Kyla, you told the jury yesterday it was time for me to go. You remember that?
Correct.
Okay. And when you saw the text from Kyla, Travis was still outside, right? He was out with his brother. You were looking through his phone when he was outside.
Correct.
So you waited for Travis to come back into the house to confront him, did you not?
I more so didn't confront him. I just went into the room to grab my things.
So you didn't walk right out the door, did you?
I went to go grab my things, and he seen his phone on the couch, so he kind of put two and two together.
Nobody believes that. You went through that man's phone and you saw something that you didn't like. And you're telling me all you did was walk back into the house to get your things? No, nobody believes that. I'm sure you confronted him. But let's go ahead and continue.
You waited for him to come back in so that you could confront him. Isn't that what's happening?
I didn't confront him. He kind of confronted me about the situation because he seen his phone was open.
You wanted to hurt him, and that's why you stayed in the house so that you could confront him and then destroy his property, did you not?
No, I wanted to grab my things and I wanted to leave.
Okay. Well, you immediately went off on him, didn't you?
No.
Yesterday you told the jury I was hurt. I was not angry. You remember that?
Yes.
But you were actually very angry, were you not?
I was more so hurt than angry.
But you were also angry, weren't you?
I was more so hurt than angry.
Do you remember giving testimony under oath on November 8th of 2021?
No.
You don't remember coming to the courthouse?
I remember, but you have to kind of refresh my memory.
Remember coming to the courthouse, right? You were subpoenaed.
For the self,
No, you were subpoenaed to come to the courthouse, and you gave sworn testimony. Do you remember that?
was it the deposition? I'm just,
Sure.
what
Feel free
did,
to stand up and stretch, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you remember giving a sworn statement on November 8th of 2021?
yes.
And do you remember being asked similar questions about whether you were angry after you noticed that he was talking with Kayla?
I believe those questions were asked.
Okay. And do you remember the question?
Judge, I'm going to object to improper impeachment.
Sustained.
Wasn't the question asked of you, and that made you very angry?
Objections, same objection.
Sustained. You got to show her the document.
I just not Judge Gilbert, Coach.
Sure.
Okay. Yesterday, you told the jury that you told Travis 1,000,000 times, "I want to leave," and he wouldn't let me go. You remember that?
Yes.
And isn't it in fact that he was the one that was actually trying to calm you down?
Not at the beginning, no.
At some point, he was trying to calm you down, wasn't he?
No.
Isn't it true that he was trying to talk some sense into you?
No, I was trying to get my things and leave, and he was trying to stop me from leaving.
You also used the word that Travis was acting erratic yesterday. You remember that?
Correct.
Isn't it the fact that you were the one that was actually being erratic?
I would say he started it, and then, yes, I became erratic right after.
So after you saw the text messages from Kayla, you actually had Travis FaceTime her, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. Did you FaceTime her, or did you have Travis FaceTime her?
I just put the phone up and pressed FaceTime,
Okay.
so she didn't see me or anything.
And the reason you did that was so that she could only see Travis, and you could evaluate or watch the way that Travis was interacting with her. Did you not?
Correct.
Okay. And so what did you, after you saw that interaction, it was your impression that somehow these two had a relationship, right?
I wouldn't say relationship, but something was going on, yes.
It was more than a friendship, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And that infuriated you as well, right?
No, I'm not going to use the word infuriated.
You were angry?
More hurt.
Okay. So you smashed his iPhone not out of anger, but because you were hurt?
Yes.
Okay. You also picked up the metal trophy on his dresser, and you hit him over the head, did you not?
I did not hit him over the head.
So what did you do with the metal trophy?
If I hit him over the head with a metal trophy, would you...
What you did instead, not if.
I held the metal trophy up because he was standing in front of the door. I was asking him if I could leave. He said no. So I picked it up and I said, "Let me leave." And he ended up raising his hands up and he said, "Okay, you can go."
All right, so you never hit him with the trophy, you never threw the trophy at him? None.
Never.
Right?
Not at all.
Okay. You also took his PlayStation and broke it, did you not?
That was far... Are we going in chronological order or no?
Ma'am, I don't even see. This is the thing about a lot of women. You ask them direct questions, and she can't even answer. Who cares what order it's in? She asks you a direct question. Did you break the PlayStation? What does it matter what order it was in? You know, like, come on now. You have to ask some of these women the same question 10 times before you get the answer that you're looking for, or the answer. Brothers, oh boy. Don't get a headache over these women, brothers. Don't get a headache.
I'm going in, I'm asking questions, you're answering them.
Okay.
The question was, regardless of the chronological order, at some point you took his PlayStation and you smashed it, did you not?
Yes, after I was slammed on the ground, I did.
Okay. So you did all these things not out of anger, but you did them because you were hurt, right?
It got to a point where I was angry, but with the questions that you were asking me, was I infuriated about him saying things about Kayla or the other things you were asking me? That was out of hurt, but it did get to an angry point. Yes, it did.
And that's when he was following you outside and he was in your ear telling you that Kayla had a better body than you, right?
It was more than that. It was the bitch word, the fuck you, it was more than just about a female.
Okay, and isn't it true? Let's talk about the B word. You were calling him a broke bitch. You were screaming at him out there on the front lawn, were you not?
After he started calling me one first, yeah, I was.
So you called him a broke bitch. What did you mean by that? That he has no money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So why was that important? Why the fact that he had no money? Why was that something that was important to you at that point?
It wasn't important to me because I was still dealing with him when he didn't have money.
Okay. But why was that important at that point when you're being,
Because he's saying low blows to hurt my feelings, so as a reaction as a human, I'm going to say low blows to hurt his feelings.
so you were pretty,
Brothers, I'm not going to even doubt that he did that. I'm not sure if he did or not. He probably did. But this is why I say, once a woman starts to belittle you, you got to let her go because it's only going to escalate. You have to let her go. This is supposed to be somebody that she loves. Quote unquote, she's supposed to love that man Travis, but yet she's going to degrade him, call him broke. And I know that a lot of you brothers have heard these women call these men out of their name. They are, I'm telling you, brothers, a lot of our women are verbally abusive. You got to let these women go. Don't even waste your time with them. You got to you got to set a standard for yourself, black man. You have to. Because these women out here are bat shit crazy. Let's continue.
you were pretty fired up at this point, right?
I wasn't really that fired up, but I was upset and I was reacting to what he was saying to me at that point, yes.
You testified yesterday before this jury that he compared me to other women. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So besides Kayla, who else did he compare you to?
It was just, I can't pinpoint names or anything like that. I don't really remember. It was just a lot of different names of who I am, what I am,
Okay.
and things like that.
And that set you off, right?
Didn't set me off. I wanted to go. It was ready. It was time for me to go. It was just getting too heated.
All right. Well, you saying now you wanted to go, but didn't you tell the jury yesterday? Then Travis said, "Get the F out of my house." Do you remember telling the jury that yesterday?
I told the jury that I had to go get my things.
You told the jury, then he said, "Get the F out of my house." That's what you told the jury yesterday.
Okay, he might have said that. He said
He
that.
wanted you out. He wasn't blocking you. He wanted you out of the house.
He wanted me to get out after he told me to go in the house to get my things. So I went into the house to grab my personal items that I brought over there.
Right. He didn't want you there anymore. He wanted you out of his house. That's what you told the jury yesterday.
Okay.
He wasn't keeping you confined in there, was he?
He was.
He wasn't falsely imprisoning you yet on the 6th, was he?
He was keeping me confined in the room. That's why I picked up the trophy.
And that's why he told you to get the F out of the house.
You're not in chronological order, so you're saying it.
At some point, he told you to get the F out of his house, did he not?
After he held me in the room and was not allowing me to leave.
He wanted absolutely nothing to do with you. Isn't that the fact?
I wanted absolutely nothing to do with him.
And isn't true, you told this jury yesterday, that Travis said, "I don't like you anymore." You remember that? You remember telling this to the jury yesterday?
He was saying, I don't necessarily remember him saying those exact words, but he was saying a lot of things. Like I said,
Then why'd you tell the jury yesterday? He said, "I don't like you anymore."
he probably did say that. He was saying a lot of hurtful things.
So he did say that, right?
Okay, so yeah.
Right. So he
It's
told
fine.
you to get the F out of his house, and he didn't like you anymore, right?
Okay.
Is that true?
Over a million other words, but yes.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you about those specific words, not the other million words that he said.
Yes.
So he said a million words?
Not a million, but he said a lot of other
You
things.
just told the jury he said a million words. So is that true?
He said a lot of other
I'm
things.
asking you if your
He said a lot of other things.
my question. I'm asking you if your testimony right now that he told you a million words, if that's an exaggeration or if that's the truth.
Obviously, he didn't say 1 million words,
That's what you just told them.
but he said a lot of other things to me.
Are there
Brothers, let me just give you some advice. If you go to court, the lawyer will play on your words. The lawyer will play on your words. That's why if a lawyer asks you something and it requires a yes or no, that's all you need to give them. Either yes or no. You don't need to give them a storyline. And as you can see, and I say this a lot, a woman will give you a whole storyline instead of actually answering your question. It's going to be a yes or no answer, and they will give you a whole storyline. But let's go ahead and continue because she's getting played right now, and she don't even realize it.
Are there other things you've exaggerated about during your testimony?
Not at all. I've been extremely truthful.
All right. So despite the fact that he told you these things, you want the jury to believe that he was the one that was blocking you during this event.
Asked and answered, sustained. Next question, please.
Travis, you didn't want to leave because what you were doing was interested in destroying his property, right?
No.
Yesterday you told the jury, I was saying stuff, but Travis started, right?
Correct.
And isn't it a fact that you are the one that actually started this whole thing by sneaking and looking into his phone?
I didn't sneak and look through the phone if I have the password.
But he didn't tell you you could look at his phone, did he?
But if someone gives you something and tells you you are allowed to look at it, I don't believe that is called sneaking.
Isn't it
Ma'am, he never told you that you could look through his phone. Again, he gave you the password months ago. Your emotions kicked in, and you made a dumb decision to go look through his phone just because he didn't visit you for a whole month. Brothers, just keep a lock on your phone, because these women, you should be allowed to go through their phone if you're with them, but they shouldn't be able to go through your phone like that. Let's continue.
true that you were the first person to become physically violent with Travis and not the other way around?
No.
Not at all?
When we were in the house, he was already nudging me to get out.
You were the one that was first physically violent, were you not?
If you can play something or show me something, I can't recall the exact steps of the moments.
Brothers, I find it funny that, women can't recall whenever they do something wrong, but if it's a man, they can recall everything. They got photographic memory when it comes to what a man did to them. But when it comes to what they did or what they said, their memory is shot. Very interesting. Let's continue.
This is November 8th, 2021, page 75. Yeah, no, thank you. Let me just
Yeah.
Back on November 8th, 2021, you provided a sworn statement. You remember that?
Yes.
And you were asked similar questions to the questions that I'm just asking you now?
Yes.
You remember me asking you those questions?
I'm reading. Give me one moment, please.
No, I'm asking you. Do you remember?
I'm trying to read them so I can.
Okay. to 16.
14. Okay. Okay.
Question. Okay, so you were the first one to become physically violent with Travis, not the other way around. Answer. Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
You remember that?
Yes.
So you were the first one to become physically violent with Travis, right?
Mhm.
That's what you told us under oath on November 8th of 2021.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, but today you're just saying that's not
I
true.
didn't say that. I said I didn't remember. I said if you can show me something to recall in my memory. I just said that.
Yeah, you do remember that you were
Right.
the one that started being physically violent with him.
Yes, after he started calling me names in my face, running me down, yes. I tried to push him away from me.
You may.
Oh, by the way, brothers, if you ever get into if you get into any craziness like this, brothers, and you need a lawyer, get you a Caucasian lawyer. Let's continue.
Yesterday, you testified to this jury on direct examination that Travis manhandled you, right?
Yes.
You've also testified that he picked you up off your feet and slammed you to the ground 2 times. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So he literally picked you up off your feet and then slammed you to the ground on 2 occasions.
Correct.
And you testified that he was disrespectful yesterday. That's the moral of the story. Is that correct?
Correct.
Isn't the moral of the story is that you sent your brother and his friends to go kill Travis?
No, the moral of the story is him putting his hands on me. That is really the basis of everything. And I didn't send my brothers to kill him.
No, you just sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right?
I didn't say shoot him.
You sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right?
Correct.
Tell the jury what the shit is.
When you're angry, you say things. I'm sure everyone in this courtroom has said something when you're.
You know, that's crazy that she's really trying to justify this is and again, brothers, the lawyer asked her a direct question, and now she's about to go into story mode and make it and try to justify what she sent. So let's go ahead and continue and see how this turns out.
I'm trying to speak. If you want me to answer your question, you have to let me answer your question.
Well, if you were responsive to my question, I wouldn't have to.
All right. Answer the question, please.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy that the judge, you see how disrespectful she is? You would have thought that she was on the Kendra G show the way she was talking. You know, Travis, when Travis was on the stand, he was a complete gentleman, and he answered the questions. When it comes to the woman, she has to give a whole story. When it goes to time, it's just a yes or no answer. This is crazy, brothers. You got to vet these women. Let's continue.
Can you repeat your question?
The question was shit. What does shit mean in the context of that text?
Anything but him.
Okay. So it could have been his brother.
No.
It could have been the house.
Nothing violent toward a person.
It could have been his mother's house, right?
I was upset and my adrenaline was running and I said something that I didn't mean. That's the bottom line of that. I didn't mean for my brothers to do any of that. That's why when my brother left the house, he did not have a firearm on him.
So, brothers, what she's basically saying, because I'm going to interpret what she said, she let her emotions make a terrible decision. That's what she's basically saying. And that's what a lot of women do. They let their emotions make their decisions. That's why I say a lot of our women are out of control, and they need to be in control by a man. A man needs to control these women. Only in America this stuff like this is happening. It ain't really happening like that in these other countries. I promise you it's not. Let's continue.
So you're not answering my question again.
Okay.
You told the jury that shit meant anything other than a person, right? That's what you just told them. You remember that?
Okay, can I clarify the jury?
Finish my question.
Okay.
Didn't you just tell the jury that shit meant anything other than a person? Yes or no?
I would like to clarify that.
Well, answer yes or no, and then you can clarify. Did you not just tell them that?
I did tell them that, but I want to clarify what I mean.
Okay.
When I said that, I was upset. I was angry, and I said something that I didn't mean. My adrenaline was running. I am clarifying my answer. Am I not?
Go ahead, finish.
So I was upset, and I ended up saying something that I didn't mean. Like, people say things when they're upset that they don't mean all the time. But since the situation has happened, it obviously blew up 20 times more. But I didn't necessarily mean for anything to happen to Travis, his family, his house, or anything. It was like my second home. I would not want anything to happen there.
So again, when you just told the jury that when you sent the text to go shoot up his shit, to shoot meant anything other than a person.
I just clarified my answer to the jury.
I'm asking, isn't that what you just told them?
This question was answered.
Sustain. Next question, please.
Isn't it true that when you left his house, that he didn't slam you to the ground? Well, he didn't lift you up off your feet and slam you to the ground, that you actually tripped and fell.
I didn't trip and fall.
Isn't it true that Travis put his foot out and you tripped over his foot and you fell?
No, that's not true.
So you're telling this jury that the video that we saw from the Ring camera shows him picking you up off your feet and slamming you to the ground.
You can barely see it because Daryl's in the way.
So it's the video does.
The video that we seen yesterday, you can barely see the full physical between me and Travis.
Okay, but the video is the video, right?
Correct, but nightly,
You're not suggesting to the jury that video is tampered with, right?
no, not at all. But I'm just saying the angle of it wasn't. You couldn't see the full testimony of what I'm saying.
Well, we saw you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Correct.
We saw Travis, right?
Yes.
We saw you fall to the ground, right?
And you saw Daryl in front of the whole entire thing.
And we saw you on the ground, right?
Correct.
We saw you jump right back up, right?
Correct.
And then we saw you storm into the house, right?
Yes, he was saying to get my things.
Okay. You told Keyshawn that Travis slammed you to the ground 2 times, right?
Correct.
You also told the police that Travis slammed you to the ground several times, right?
Correct.
You also told Tyler that Travis slammed you to the ground a couple times.
Correct.
And you also told that to Tierney and Linda, right?
Correct.
And to be clear, Tierney is Tierney Coleman, Travis's sister,
Correct.
and Linda is his mom, right?
Correct.
So you told basically everyone that night that he picked you up off your feet and slammed you to the ground.
Correct.
Now, on the video we saw, you went back in the house for the purpose of getting your tequila bottle, right?
I was grabbing all my things. I think I still had things on the couch as well.
One of the things you went back into the house to grab was your tequila bottle, was it not?
Correct.
The bottle that you had bought early that evening.
Correct.
That was your bottle, not Travis's, right?
Correct.
And isn't it a fact that you started hitting him, and we saw that on the video yesterday, that you started hitting him with your fists,
Yes.
okay? And you were slapping him, were you not?
I don't think I slapped him, but I did like throw a punch or two, at him so I can go in there and get my stuff. He wasn't letting me.
Okay, so he was physically.
Brothers, if you saw that surveillance video, she said a punch or two. She tried to mollywop that dude. She threw at least about 8 punches, and she talking about 1 or 2 punches, and it like she slapped him. So, brothers, once it gets verbal, and she disrespects you, it is time for her to go. You are not supposed to tolerate any type of verbal or physical abuse from a woman. And here's the thing, Travis is a football player. So he's probably a big dude. I'm not sure how tall he is, but I'm going to assume that he's over 6 feet. His ex-girlfriend looked like she's about 5'3". But she out here trying to throw hands with somebody that's over 6 feet. These women out here is batshit crazy. And I'm going to continue to say that. Let's continue.
Physically holding you and not letting you go in?
He was blocking me from going in. He's telling me to get my things. I'm going in there to get my things. Then he's blocking me saying, like, back up.
And he never raised a hand and touched you, did he not?
Yeah, he was raising his hand the whole time, like grabbing me, pushing me back. Yeah, the whole time.
Okay, so did he punch you?
No, he didn't punch me.
Did he slap you?
No, he didn't slap me.
Did he pick up any objects and hit you over the head with them?
No.
So other than standing there, right, he did absolutely nothing else to you?
Just a physical physical altercation without punching or slapping or anything like that. Just the grabbing me up and DJ trying to grab him. It was
Where was he grabbing you? Was he grabbing you by the hair?
just like by my shoulders, but like by my arms, like trying to get out, things like that.
Even though he's the one that told you to get the F out of his house, right?
No, he told me to go in there and get my stuff.
Because he wanted you out. He wanted you out of there,
And I was leaving with my things that I brought.
including your bottle.
It doesn't matter about the bottle, but I wanted my actual clothes and things that I brought because I used to sleep over there all the time.
Well, it doesn't matter about your bottle because when you did leave the house eventually, you took that bottle and hit him over the head.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that after you left the house, you picked up a brick outside on the lawn?
I picked up a lot of things and I threw a lot of things. I'm not 100% sure about everything, but I was throwing things, yes.
Okay. And you picked up that brick. It was your intent to smash Travis's car window, was it not?
It wasn't my intention. I was just frustrated and angry and I was throwing things.
Including the brick, right?
Correct.
Okay. Why'd you want to smash his car window?
Like I said, it wasn't intentional. I was just throwing things because I was upset.
And when you were throwing things, you were also screaming things at him, like you were going to send your brother Keyshawn over to kill him, right?
Never, ever, ever said the word kill at all.
Okay, so when you were yelling at him, telling him that you're sending your brother Keyshawn over, it was just to shoot up his shit?
I texted that message. Yes, I did.
When you were screaming and yelling at him while you still were at his house, and telling him that you're sending Keyshawn over, what exactly did you
I never threatened him. The messages between me and my brother were only between me and my brother. They have never seen those messages, and so everything has came out.
To this day, you're aware that Travis's car window was smashed, right?
Correct.
Did you do it?
Yes.
When did you do it?
Right before I left.
So brothers, even after all of this, she went and picked up a brick, smashed his shit. So I want you brothers to keep this in mind. She smashed his phone. She picked up his PlayStation and smashed that up. Then she went and got a brick and smashed his vehicle up. But yet, you brothers accept this shit. We gotta stop accepting stuff like this, brothers. And here's the thing: send these females to jail. Send these females to jail because they need to be shamed or take some money out their pocket. That's probably one of the worst ways you could hurt anybody is take money out their pocket, brothers. I don't know what's wrong with some of these women, brothers. But we almost finished with this. Let's go ahead and continue.
While Travis was still outside?
I don't know if he was outside or inside, but he was still outside yelling.
Okay, so we saw some video yesterday after you left. Travis is still outside. You remember that?
Yeah.
So your testimony is that while he's outside, you smashed his car window, right?
No, I wasn't there at that point. I think I was already on my way home at that point because I didn't see those videos. When he came outside with no shirt on and all that, that was my first time seeing that.
So when did you exactly smash it? After you were on the lawn, picked up the brick, DJ and Travis came, they took the brick away from you. You remember that?
Correct.
And then you got in your car and you left, did you not?
Yeah.
All right, so you didn't break the car window at that point, right?
I was throwing things, so it could have hit it at that point.
So it's possible that you hit it while Travis was still outside, or had he gone back in the house?
I'm not sure.
You also, when you left the house, you called your brother Keyshawn. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay, and you were still crying and upset when you called him, right?
Yes.
And then you also called Tyler Robinson when you left Travis's house, did you not?
Yes.
And you were crying and upset at that point as well.
Yes.
And you told both of them that Travis had picked you up and slammed you to the ground, right?
Yes.
And that he had disrespected you.
Yes.
And you also sent a text message to Keyshawn at roughly 9:45 that Travis dropped you to the ground. You remember that?
Yep.
And in response to that text message, Keyshawn sent a group text message to you and Tyler Robinson that Travis is a dead man walking. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's the message that you deleted from your phone, right?
No, I deleted the shoot his shit up message.
And you also deleted the dead man walking message.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't remember if I did or not.
Why did you delete messages so that this jury couldn't see them?
It,
It is argumentative, phrased that way. Rephrase, please.
Why
Sustained.
would you delete evidence so that it's not available for the jury to see?
the evidence wasn't deleted for the jury not to see, because clearly I'm standing up here right now and I'm admitting that I did delete the messages, and I'm confessing that I did turn my phone into the police enforcement. It wasn't for the jury not to see. After all these actions have happened, you have to understand how that looks. It looks ridiculous. Beforehand, if nothing like that happened, it would have just been words that were said. People say things when they're mad. Their adrenaline is running all the time. So that is the reason why I deleted them after I came to the conclusion that there was a shooting.
And you were concerned about that. You had a guilty conscience, did you not?
I still have a guilty conscience to this day, and I will say that to the jury, to everybody in here. Of course I do.
And you,
That was never my intentions, for no one to die, or for even for him to be sitting over there right now.
just to go shoot it up, whatever the shit was, right?
Like I said, I made a terrible choice of words during that time. I was 23. I was young. I was dumb. I made a very, very bad decision when I said those words, but it was never my intentions.
You deleted.
So, brothers, I stopped it there for a reason, because this was long. But you've heard this so many times, where a woman will use the excuse that she was young and dumb, just like when they get after they dealing with a dumbass nigga that they didn't even know nothing about. Then they get pregnant, and then they're looking for a man. And then when somebody asks them, well, why did you ask that man to marry you or whatever? Oh, well, I was young and dumb. Brothers, I'm going to tell you right now, part of the reason that stuff like this happens is because of us. We invite stuff like this. Travis Rudolph should have been focusing only on his career. Women can be a distraction, brothers. It's so much stuff that went through this whole case. There was more of this video, but I didn't want to put all of it in there because it was just way too much. But I just wanted y'all to see a toxic woman. A woman that has a childlike mentality. And she made her decisions off of her emotions, and somebody ended up killed. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad that Travis was found not guilty, because I thought the dude was going to be guilty. 39 bullets. He shot at the vehicle 39 times. So I thought he was going to be found guilty. But brothers, I just want you to, when you deal with a woman, you need to vent her. But if you got a career going on, you cannot let a woman get in the way of that, because they can be a distraction, because they need to be babied like children, brothers. I got you. But that's pretty much it, brothers. That's all. I just wanted this to show you what a toxic woman is. And the shorter they are, the worse they are, brothers. Keep that in mind. Again, brothers, the shorter the woman is, the worse they are. I don't make these things up. But on that note, brothers, that's pretty much it.